Go.
Hello, hello.
Hello. So today we have quite a packed day of news and quite an interesting day also in price action. So we're gonna start with talking about JP Morgan warns of incoming Bitcoin bear market, citing unusual development in futures. Basically, what they're saying is that there's a lack of institutional investors and there's no interest in investing in Bitcoin. That's kind of what they're saying. Do we agree on that? Not sure about that.
I don't know. In our last episode, we were showing tons and tons of examples of institutions coming in. So
The question is it misguided what they're saying? And they just, they may be wrong, or are they, creating FUD on purpose? That's also a question. Maybe they want to buy, so the way in which they could be able to do that was by telling people to sell. It's also a possibility. But other than the conspiracy theory part of that, I like this looks completely misguided. It looks like there's a lot of interest in the crypto market, regardless of the fact that we went down 50%. So, and so there's multiple institutions. Even Michael Saylor is buying again. There's multiple institutions that are starting to get interested into the crypto market because there's a lot of potential here. So I don't see why people should not be investing in the crypto market in general, or at least have a little bit of an allocation into the crypto market that they don't have. Not everyone has an allocation in the crypto market, and at a certain point people will have to have one because it's going to be a massive part of the financial system. So, but let's get to the next more, let's say, lightweight news. Hundreds of Bitcoin mining rigs seized in Malaysia, police raids. And it looks like for some people wanted to mine Bitcoin, so they thought, well, I can be smarter than everyone and not pay electricity. And so they tried kind of to connect to the grid illegally somehow, and they were able to do it, but they were caught, and it didn't end up well for them. So I guess maybe pay your electricity bill. I guess that's the
stole over $1,000 in electricity. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Reminds me of I think there was a story back in 2017 where some Russian scientists were using one of their government supercomputers to mine Monero and got caught. Remember that?
Yeah, but I also heard about like students placing miners inside the schools and school computers. That's like one of the main things that used to happen even in universities everywhere. Everyone wanted to mine on someone else's computer. It was a big thing.
Wasn't this bad, but back in 2013 when I was in college, I mined in my dorm room. I had free electricity, so that was pretty cool.
Well, that was included in your college tuition, I guess.
Yeah.
Sense. So.
Nothing illegal. They didn't say I couldn't do it, so
You didn't do anything wrong. If there was no rules, what is
no rules.
Exactly. The Netherlands should regulate crypto instead of banning it, says finance minister. So it looks like these guys are gonna do what everyone else is gonna do. What every other, smart country does. They're gonna regulate crypto instead of banning it, because there's really no way to ban it. And if they ban it, they get zero tax revenue from it, where they could have got people like to say, well, I own this and that, and not have to do it under the table with regulation. It's just that simple. It's like a benefit for the holders themselves, because they feel like they're more protected, even though I don't think that regulations actually help that much in protecting people. I think it's just like the scams are gonna just get through the the safety net of regulations anyways. So I don't know. But it looks like we're going into this direction of regulating crypto, which is in a sense bullish, of course, but in a sense it will create problems over time, because a lot of coins did things that maybe were not correct, and so they will have to suffer the consequences of that. even though there was really no regulation beforehand. So I don't see why they are going after crypto companies, because if they didn't have regulations, in fact they did not commit a crime, right? If you think about it.
Yeah.
But let's go forward. Tanzanian president urges central bank to prepare for crypto. So it looks like another country is jumping on board on the crypto train. So they will begin exploring Bitcoin and digital assets. This is, of course, this is not a big country. That's kind of the problem. If the U.S. central bank started saying that, it would be much more bullish news. But it's still bullish. So we're getting, other than the JP Morgan one, we have quite a bullish lineup of news. Next one coming up. Do you have anything to say about this?
Not really. It's just more of the same. Most countries are starting to look at regulating it. They're looking into it. Like it's not much here.
Not much to say. But we have a little bit to say about Mr. Elon. We have a little bit to say about the guy. So Mr. Elon reveals when Tesla will resume allowing Bitcoin payments. So basically what he said is that when there's a reasonable confirmation, this is impossible to know. So I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do it. Maybe, I don't know, like why would the miners would have to say, well, I'm mining Bitcoin and I have to tell you which energy source I'm using. So if miners would bend the knee to Mr. Elon and tell him what source of energy is the energy they're using, then he would know, and the idea is he will resume allowing Bitcoin payments. My take on this is that he tried to push the price down and he bought more, but that's my thinking. It might be still conspiracy theory, but it's strange the price action that we had, the way things were talked about, especially the Bitcoin mining problem and the sustainability of it. Feels like it's like one of the last bearish arguments about the thing, like that are in the public at the moment. Like no one is talking about the fact that Bitcoin hasn't been able to scale yet completely and fully for people to be able to use it and has to rely on layer 2s to work. But they talk about the environmental issues that Bitcoin has, which is kind of a really small and secondary problem in my opinion. But
I would reverse that. I would say the environmental issue is bigger. Because, I mean, as long as you got layer 2s, right, like, Bitcoin could work. And there's other cryptos that are just better than Bitcoin, too, for whatever you want to do with it, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a reasonable concern over the environmental stuff. And yeah, no, I do think we're moving in a positive direction on that too. Like China banning coal-fired Bitcoin miners, that's going to help push it to this direction. Elon is already talking to a lot of big miners about moving more and more towards renewable energy. So I actually think this could happen sooner than people expect. And yeah, of course, he's never going to be able to prove the exact amount of clean energy used within the Bitcoin network, but I think if it becomes like a reasonable assumption that we're getting close to 50%, we'll open it up.
I hear you. And then we have our, I guess, last news of the day. Ethereum gas fees plunges. Polygon layer 2 surpasses 7 million transactions. So this is extremely good for Ethereum because it had this big issue of having ginormous fees, where, for example, to like carry out a transaction in a busy time, you would have to spend like $250, which pretty crazy fees for like in comparison, other blockchains are able to do much better. But it seems like the layer 2s at the moment are solving the issue. So this is kind of saving the day for Ethereum and the Ethereum DeFi in general, especially for smaller players, because now they will be able to interact with Ethereum, and this is definitely bullish for Ethereum. The thing is, we need to see when we're gonna have the actual upgrade to ETH 2.0, and if it is actually gonna happen this summer. That's the big question, really. If that happens, then we are sailing up to the moon, pretty much. So we'll see.
Okay. And if it doesn't, at least we got Matic, right?
At least we got Matic, yeah. But then you can't really make the sustainable argument about Ethereum that it is the blockchain that doesn't use proof of work and uses proof of stake. So they could run also with that narrative and say that it is better than Bitcoin because of that. So there's a lot of things that in the narratives that would change if the upgrade would go through. So we have to kind of...
The upgrade goes through. ETH is a $10,000 coin easy, right?
Yeah, probably. But let's get into the price action and see what is happening. Well, basically, we're moving up. That's the name of the game today. We're moving up. Looks like we're trying to test the $40,000 level after a couple of weeks of not visiting the four, the number 4 in front of everything. So it's quite a big moment if we manage to break above, let's say, $42,000, which is kind of the massive level over here. There is a high chance that a move above that would lead us to getting to the $50,000 range, which would be quite bullish, and then see from there. There's a lot of shorts piled up at the moment, which could lead to some sort of a short squeeze. We don't know yet about that. We are not in the territories of that happening yet, because we would need to basically... I've calculated a little bit of that could make sense, where we could start having a bigger squeeze for bigger positions. That would be around $52,000. Because if you take the middle of this range, basically from top to bottom, let's say someone bought on average there, like I'm trying to do a little bit of, trying to figure it out. Then you take a 50% move up from there, which is 36, right? So that would liquidate pretty much any short position that was taken around here with leverage, right? So that would be in the $50,000 range, $54,000 range. So breaking and moving up to $54,000 would liquidate all positions that are 2x leverage or higher, pretty much. 100% would mean we liquidate all shorts, but that's far away from here. At least we can hope to liquidate the 5x, 3x, 4x in the move up. So we get a nice little push, especially seeing that there's a lot of people that are shorting Bitcoin because they think Bitcoin is likely to go to $20,000 or even lower. Some people are calling even for lower. So my expectation is if we do manage to continue up and we break this big resistance that we have been fighting against for the last month pretty much, the chances of us moving towards the $50,000 become quite high. What do you think? What is your take on it?
I think, if we get above 42K, chances are we could go to the low 50Ks, but there's going to be a lot of resistance there. Like, we distributed up there for a very long time. There's a lot of people who bought there that are traps, and they're most likely going to be selling. So if we are going to get above the 50Ks, then it will probably take a while. I mean, I don't think we just shoot straight up or anything. But yeah, no, if we can make a higher high, then maybe it's not over yet. Maybe we still got another year of this. Who knows?
Maybe. Let's hope for it. It looks like what is confirming the idea that there's a chance for another leg up is also the dominance that is rising. In previous bull traps that we had in the past, we didn't have this growth in the dominance really. It is going up, which is quite an interesting sign. Usually this happens before you have a nice little leg up on Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin starts settling a little bit, and then you get a nice juicy move down on the dominance, and then the altcoins pump again, and you repeat the cycle pretty much. So we have had a couple of alt seasons in the previous bull market, so I'm sure we could have another alt season also in this bull market. It's not given, It's not given, but if we do make, let's say, a new high, or we start hovering around the $50,000 to $54,000 Bitcoin price, then there is a chance that we might see dominance starting to fall a little bit more. It's not given, but if that would happen, then we would probably have another alt season. So things to keep in mind. Right now, altcoins against Bitcoin, of course, are suffering because dominance is going up and Bitcoin is up quite massively today. So I understand why altcoins are not keeping up with this massive momentum to the upside that we started yesterday. So I think that's pretty much it for the day. Do you want to look also at Ethereum? Maybe, yeah, maybe we should look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum is still holding the previous low, which is good for Ethereum. It does look like it's lagging Bitcoin quite a lot, so it looks like there's not as many bulls in Ethereum yet. They've not seen the confirmation of Bitcoin yet. They don't feel confident going into a higher risk asset yet. So it always starts with Bitcoin, nothing to be surprised about. It always starts with that, and then when Bitcoin decides to go up and settles, then you get the big moves on the altcoins, right?
Usually, yeah.
So I guess we're
done. Once you see Bitcoin break above 42 and it starts consolidating, that's when I'm expecting alts to start trying to get up to. But you gotta take 42K first, and we'll see.
And we will see. All right. Bye.